Hey guys, I'm Dr. Bree and welcome to Femme Fusion Fitness, your home for core and pelvic floor friendly fitness and yoga. Today's workout is one that will not apply to everyone. I'm very sorry. I usually don't like to use equipment in my various videos, but today I have a requested video that is based on a piece of equipment I have, an inversion bench that I have been posting on Instagram and Facebook, and I've had a lot of people really curious about it. And so I wanted to show the full length workout that I use using this inversion bench. Now, I consider this to be a workout that's safe for people who have issues like a diastasis recti and also prolapse. The reason I say I think that it's potentially great for prolapse is that the idea is to help get you up into an inversion, so feet up in the air like a handstand or a headstand, safely, and it gets you there if you don't necessarily have the strength to be able to get there on your own. Now, inversions are great for people with prolapse because it uses gravity. Gravity pulls your pelvic organs back into place and it relieves the pressure on your pelvic floor. So if you're interested, I have a link to the inversion bench that I use in the video notes or the video description below this video. You can check that out, or I just got mine on Amazon.com. So core and pelvic floor friendly. I hope you'll enjoy this. This full-length total body workout is based on the pamphlet that I actually received with my inversion bench. Of course, I took some liberties to make it my own and expanded upon it, but if you have this pamphlet yourself, then a lot of these moves will look really familiar. So the first is a warrior chest opener. It's almost like you're in a warrior position, and I'm really externally rotating my shoulders. So you can see that my thumbs are turned outward and I'm holding on to the little handlebars. And that just opens up my chest and opens up my shoulders and allows me to really get a nice full chest expansion. Plus I'm getting a great hip stretch on the right leg. So the leg that's back, I can really feel this in the front of my right hip. Breathe deeply, and if you're doing this with me, make sure that your lower ribs don't jut too far forward. You don't want to overstretch that anterior abdominal wall. Now hands on the sides of the bench and just flow back and forth, breathing steadily. This is so good for your spine, and besides, it just feels delicious. Keep going. All right, move into Pigeon Pose. So front leg, for me it's my left leg, goes up on the bench, back leg stretches back. So my right leg is stretching back, my left leg is up on the bench, bent at the knee and also flexed at the ankle to protect the knee on that left leg. So again, left ankle is flexed. Right leg works back to really improve that stretch. And you can just hold that pigeon, or you can add some arms if you're feeling like you want to go a little bit more, a little bit farther. Make sure if you are adding these arms that you keep your core strong and engaged. Don't let your low ribs pop forward. You want to pull them in nice and engaged. This is really going to challenge your core strength and your shoulder strength as well. Deepen your stretch into Pigeon Pose if you wish, and just enjoy that nice flowing movement back and forth. So good for your spine. In this workout, we are stretching and strengthening the entire body, really from head to toe. Okay, come out of pigeon and put that leg that was up on the bench, put it on the ground, and we'll do just a couple of lunges. So in place, using the bench as a marker for how low you should go. So bending your knees until you touch the bench. You want to exhale with exertion, so really exhale as you come up to stand. You can have your arms overhead or on your hips. Keep your core strong. and your pelvic floor lifted and engaged. And finish up. All right, we're gonna do the same exact routine on the other side. So switching legs, now my right leg is forward, my left leg is back, and we're going straight into the warrior chest opener. So it's like you're in a warrior position, somewhat, stretching out the front of that left hip and really opening through your chest and your anterior shoulders. So hold on to the handlebars, thumbs are pointing outward, and that's going to help you externally rotate at your shoulder joints. Breathe deeply and expand your chest while still pulling your low ribs in just a little bit. You don't want to overstretch that anterior abdominal wall. Now look forward, hands on the sides, and remember we are flowing. This flowing is something that should feel good and juicy for you. If you don't like the way it feels, then skip it, but I love coupling breath with movement. It's great for the spine and the hips, and it just feels pretty. All right, other leg up on the bench. Flex at the ankle of the leg that's up. We're moving into a pigeon pose. So you might have to kind of shift and adjust yourself to work that back leg back as far as you can. I am actually pretty stiff in the pigeon pose in my yoga practice, and so I love this bench as a tool to help me get deeper into it. Sit up nice and tall. You can also fold forward into pigeon, or you can add in the arms as I'll show in a minute here. Just breathe deeply and keep your core nice and engaged, stretching and strengthening all at the same time. Again, I'm adding in the arms, little shoulder circles. I'm going the other way this time with my circles. If you do this, try not to let your low back overly arch. Keep your low ribs pulled in, your core engaged and strong. And only add in this arms if you feel pretty solid and stable with this pigeon pose, because it does add quite a bit of core work and requires some balance. Another couple of flows, and then you can stretch forward and fold into the pose. Breathe deeply. And come up. We will finish with our lunges on this side. So now right leg forward, left leg back, and hands can be on your hips or overhead. Core is super strong and engaged, and we just lunge up and down, bending. Maybe your hamstring on that front leg is going to touch the inversion bench. Maybe your body shape is such that that's not going to happen for you. Maybe you're too tall or too short. Maybe this won't work for you, but I like it. Give it a try and see if it meets your needs too. All right, time to move on to some serious arm work. This is a triceps dip. So holding on to the handles, fingers are looped around, pointing outward. And you can do this with bent knees, like I'm showing now, or I'm going to show in a sec how you can also straighten your legs as well. You want your elbows to point straight back toward the back of the room and not flaring out to the sides. So this is the full version. The motion is coming from your elbows bending and not just from your hips going down and up. So make sure that your arms are really bending, and if it's too hard to do it with straight legs, then that's okay, bend your knees. Be sure to exhale with exertion. Always keep breathing. Never hold your breath. Now hold in a reverse plank. Really lift your hips high, 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 and try to get your feet all the way on the ground, fully on the ground, lifting, squeezing the whole back side of the body, shoulders down away from your ears, and come on down. Next, we will move into a camel pose. So this is Ustrasana, Camel Pose in yoga, but instead of holding on to heels, you can hold on to the handlebar. So turn your shoulders into external rotation so that your thumbs are pointing outward. Really open and expand your chest. Head can look forward or up, or if you're comfortable with it, you can drop it back, but I prefer to leave my head just looking up toward the ceiling. Keep your low ribs pulled in. You don't want to overly stretch that anterior abdominal wall, so your core should be lightly engaged. Stretching out the front of the hips, the front of the abs and trunk, and the back. All right, come on down. And next up, push-ups. So you're going to go into a push-up from your knees position, body straight like a plank, and elbows point back toward the back of the room, just like before. Exhale with exertion. Keep your core strong and engaged, body straight like a plank, shoulders down and away from your ears. If the inversion bench is sliding, then you can always do this against a wall. Mine doesn't slide, but if you find that yours does slide, then against a wall is a good idea. Okay, and ending here with puppy pose. So it's kind of like puppy pose or child's pose, but with your arms up, your hands up on the handlebars, it feels so good on the chest muscles and the back. It is absolutely delicious. So breathe into this stretch. Come on up, come to the front, and we're going to sit on the edge of the front of the inversion bench, holding onto the handlebars in the back, and do some ab work. So really keep your spine long and your core, your heart lifted, and your core super, super engaged. Straighten your right leg, bring your left leg to join, lift both, bend the knees, set down. Right leg straight, left leg joins, lift both, bend the knees, set them down. So really slow and controlled with this. Take your time. Make sure that your core stays strong, your pelvic floor lifted, and your abs pulled in. Don't let your back round. And if you feel like your low belly is pooching upward, if you feel like your tummy is pooching or tenting or doming upward, then don't do this. It may not be right for you if you have diastasis recti. If you have back issues, just really check in with your back that it's not hurting your back. I did switch legs, so now my left leg is straightening, and then my right leg joins it, and then I lift both legs, bend the knees, set it down. Okay, keep going, a couple more, and you want to keep breathing. Do not hold your breath. Stay strong and lifted through the spine. This is probably the trickiest and potentially riskiest exercise that I'm showing you, because again, if you have back issues, it could be problematic. If you have diastasis recti, it could be. You've really got to listen to your body with that one. So now moving on to the next one that we're going to do, you're going to lean back a bit as you straighten your legs out in front of you. Keep your abs pulled in, your spine long, heart lifted, and just alternate crisscrosses of the legs. Feeling this in your inner thighs. Keep breathing. Do not hold your breath, and make sure your low belly doesn't pooch outward or upward. Keep your low abs pulled in, your pelvic floor lifted, and just a few more. Keep breathing. Spine long, don't let your back round. All right, finish up, very nice, and stretch out one leg at a time. Nice little hamstring stretch, bending and straightening one leg at a time. And then after all of that work on the front side of the body, so all of that work for the abs and the hip flexors, it's time to do some work for the back side of the body. So on your back, legs up on the bench, and move into a bridge. So adjust yourself so the positioning is just right, and you just lift your hips up and down, pressing into your calves and heels that are up on the bench. Arms can be at your sides or overhead like I'm showing. And if you wish, you can lift one leg at a time. I'm going to do that about 10 times on each side, about 10 lifts on each side. But remember, you don't have to do this. You can leave both legs on the bench, and it's a great strengthener for your hamstrings and your bum. Always keep the breath flowing. Never hold your breath. Exhale with exertion. And then switch legs if you were doing the single leg bridge. Keep the breath flowing. Remember, never ever hold the breath. You are almost done. And finish up. Hug your knees in toward your chest and stir the pot, swirling your knees around on both legs. And next up, we are going to go straight into the inversions. So for this, if you are a beginner and you are doing this along with me, then you'll definitely want to press your inversion bench up against the wall. So I'm not going to show that simply because I need to be able to really show you what I'm doing from the side. But again, if you're a beginner, put it up against the wall for safety. So this is one way to go down. You can just put your feet up on the bar and then go straight down, or you can put your head in the head hole, shoulders rest on the pads, and then walk your feet a little bit closer. So adjust your shoulders, adjust your head, and then walk your feet up a little bit closer to you. Then engage your core nice and strong, lift one leg at a time and then the other. And then with a nice strong core, you'll lift your legs either both at the same time or one at a time, slowly up toward the ceiling. Now, you'll notice as you're doing this that your body is going to shift around a little bit. You can go ahead and use your hands on the handles to help support your body. That's why they're there. So use those handles, use your core as well, but go ahead and use your arms to help keep your balance. Now, this is where you can really play. You can cycle your legs like you're riding a bike, always keeping your core nice and strong, always breathing. You can do all sorts of things. You can just stay in the headstand, you can do splits, or you can bring your feet together and knees apart as I'm showing here. You can also do diamond legs where your feet are together, knees are apart, and then you straighten both legs up toward the ceiling. That is what I'm showing here, and this is an awesome exercise for your pelvic floor. I think it feels wonderful on my pelvic floor. My inner thighs feel it. It's just a fantastic move. It kind of reminds me of my favorite butterfly bridge in a way. But doing this in the inversion, you're getting such a great core workout, and it's also great for your pelvic floor. Inversions just provide relief from all the downward pressure and strain on your pelvic floor. When you're ready to come down, you can bring one leg down at a time with control, or you can bring both knees to your chest and then roll down as well. Whatever feels good to you, just do it with control and slowly. When you're done, you want to keep your head down. Don't sit up right away. It's very important that you keep your head below your heart for at least, at least 5 breaths or so, if not longer. I'm showing here how I like to actually have my hands up on the bench. To me, that feels really, really good. But you can play with positions, see what feels right for you. And again, spend several breaths with your head below your heart. Otherwise, you'll get a head rush and it will not feel good. You can also just come right down into a child's pose. Roll it up, finish up your rest time. And coming up onto the bench again, we're going to work our back. So I like to place my thighs on the area where my shoulders actually were when I was doing the inversion, and lift everything off the floor. So really working the entire back side of the body. Lift airplane arms and airplane legs, and you can hold it. I'm holding it right here. I'm also now bringing my arms forward and back. So if you're with me, join me. Arms forward and back. Legs are lifted. You're thinking not only about height, but also about length. So lengthening the legs out behind you and lengthening the arms out in front of you. And release into a quadricep stretch. So hold on to the outsides of your feet and lifting. You're using your feet to actually pull back on your hands. This will help open your chest and will really increase the stretch. So again, you're kicking your feet back into your hands. And now release all the way. Come up and prepare to go into a half split. So this is a great way to really use the bench as a prop to help you deepen your half split, which is a great hamstring stretch. So my left leg, my front leg, the heel is up against the bar and I'm holding onto the handlebars with my hands. You want everything to be facing forward. So your hips are facing forward, your chest and heart are facing forward. Keep your spine straight, your heart facing forward, and just sink into that hamstring stretch. So the front leg, again, my left leg is straight, feeling it all along the back side of the calves and hamstrings. I'm going to show a variation that's totally optional where you can use the bench as a prop to help slide you forward into a full split. This is really challenging and not for beginners. So you should definitely be careful with this, but the bench is pretty cool because it's really a nice support to help you if you are working on your full split. So sink your hips down toward the floor. Make sure that the back leg, for me, the right leg is out straight behind you. And then you can press into the handlebars to release that front foot back. So now we're gonna do the other side. Half split on the other side. Now my right heel is pressing into the front bar, the front bottom bar of the bench. Hands are on the handlebars. Everything faces forward. So hips are square facing forward, heart shines forward, back is flat. So try not to round your spine. And you're really hinging at your hips. Breathe into it, sink into it, and feel that stretch on the back side of the front leg. So again, right leg for me, back of the calves, the hamstrings, and then if you want to, shift forward, let the bench slide forward into a full split, an assisted full split. When I discovered this little trick, I thought it was so brilliant because I've been really working on my full split, and this is a really great way to help. When you're done, press into the handlebars and step that front foot back to join the other and sit back into a nice deep stretch, either a child's pose or just like I'm showing here, holding onto the handlebars. Now, if you want to, you can add a little flow where you inhale and come up onto your knees and arch your back, look up toward the ceiling, and then sit back on your heels as you exhale. So inhale, look up, arch your back, and exhale, sit on your heels. Inhale, look up toward the ceiling, arch your back. Exhale, sit on your heels. Come up onto your knees now and step up to stand. Stretch one leg out at a time, just wiggle things out, let it go, and prepare for our last big move, which is a great side body strengthener. So place one shin on the bench and the other leg goes straight down. Think of really pressing down into your outer foot, the outer edge of your foot on the leg that's down. Press into the outer edge of that foot of the leg that's down and really engage your core and exhale as you come up. So again, pressing into the foot of the leg that's down, really engaging your core and exhaling as you come straight up. So a diagonal movement, straight down to the side and then straight up. Do not hold your breath, keep it flowing. And turn your palms up and lift up toward the ceiling. This is a great shoulder strengthener. Try to keep your shoulders down away from your ears and really like you're raising the roof or like you're clapping your hands up on the ceiling, lifting repeatedly. Wonderful for your shoulders. You're still also getting that great hip stretch and really lengthening that leg out to the side, stretching and strengthening at the same time. Roll out your shoulders, let everything wiggle and just feel good. Stretch in a way that feels good for your body. And we're gonna move on to the other side. So take a minute to just release all of the tension in your muscles and walk around to the other side. Same exact thing. So now the other leg is bent up on the bench and the opposite leg is stretched out to the side. So try to press into the leg where the foot is on the ground. Press into that foot and really use your core. Engage your pelvic floor and abs. Try to go straight down to the side and then up. Straight down to the side and then up. You do not have to touch all the way to the floor. You can also touch toward a yoga block, or you can just go down a couple of inches. Do what you can. When you're done with the reps, turn your palms up toward the ceiling and press your palms up, up, up toward the sky. Try not to let your shoulders creep up toward your ears. Wonderful shoulder strengthener, wonderful stretch for your hips. Try also to pull your lower ribs in while you're doing that move. Sometimes they have a tendency to pop forward. So release your shoulders, release your head and neck. And I love to end with a little meditation. This yoga bench or inversion bench is actually a great place to sit in a seated cross-legged position. Spine nice and long, crown of your head reaches toward the ceiling. Roll your shoulders down and back. And just take a few nice deep breaths where you inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Ending this way is really, really calming and completes this total body workout on the inversion bench. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember to check the video notes if you'd like a link to the bench I use. And definitely come back next week. There's always something new for you here at FemFusion Fitness. And remember, until next time, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter. We'll see you next time.